With the market in turmoil, it's becoming harder and harder to sell homes.
Markets always crash. Anybody tells you to invest for the long term, you've got to be silly.
But will it be impossible? The biggest asset of a man's life might soon be the biggest problem to his net worth, as the house prices touch the higher highs, but there is no money value to buy. Find out why selling homes will become impossible. Stay tuned till the end of the video because this might change your life's fortunes or dust away them all. What is it? What's the panic about? 2023 is a strange year. With the economy in a slump, almost nothing was flowing, not even money. People are saying that the lack of economic flow had become so bad that the only way to make a buck was to sell air, and even that was in short supply. In a nutshell, this is the condition of the entirety of markets. There's a concerning question that is arising amongst the people, that potentially why nobody will be able to sell their house. It may come down with no warning at all, since the overpricing has swarmed the common individuals to press on the fact they are no longer to retain their most valuable asset as they used to. Time is changing. Some of the biggest names in the finance world pinned down their opinion on why we need to preserve our assets more than ever. Before we make any predictions or pen down any type of conspiracy, there is one obvious thing to note that the real estate market does not work with a simple and plain nature. It's not just about buying and selling. Lack of economic flow. It may get controversial, but hold on as we hold your hand through. The US dollar is falling. In fact, it's on a skydive. It is daunting to say that the only real assets in the world are either the most precious metals, real estate, oil, or any such impactful natural resources. Other than that, there are edible resources which are completely ignored by the masses and taken for granted. Fiat has been nothing but just a mirage. It is true at the end of the day that the value of our $1 trillion is backed by nothing but the bank.
Why would I save money when they print money? Then they tell you to save money. Do you know why they tell you to save money? So when you save, let's say you save $1, the banking system can lend out 10.
Let that sink in. Just imagine how dreadful it would be to wake up with USD getting half the value it is. Sounds horrifying. Now, why are we pointing at the USD value in a video of selling houses? Looking at it from the perspective of just how weak the value of money is getting there is no doubt why people, even with a healthy bank balance, cannot afford anything glittering. Recession has already knocked on the door, inflation is inevitably getting higher, and in these times, the unemployment of the newer generation is on peak. House sales and factors. It is important to point out that the pending house sales on a major level are entirely a mere median set of calculations which are based on four main factors: external factors and internal factors, which include everything from the construction quality to the sewage system. At the end of the day, you don't want Spider-Man fighting some crazy lizard in your basement. Market dynamics, which is about the demand and supply, which is quite possibly the most important factor in house sales. There may be a huge demand, but not the supply, which makes the real estate market just as shallow as the vice versa. Given that the demand is written off on the basis of lacking space, market dynamics are like the wind beneath my wings of the house selling process. Without demand and supply, your home would be like a bird with clipped wings, unable to take flight and find the perfect buyer. It's like a game of musical chairs. Property prices rise and fall on the basis of demand and supply in a particular region. It's like when the music stops, whoever gets the most buyers for their property wins the real estate game. The number of homes available for sale in your area versus the number of buyers in that area, plus how quickly a property sells in your area, are all factors that are taken into account to calculate the market value of the property. Kareem Khan, managing partner of Network Ventures, says it best. Apart from location and demand, the cost at which similar properties in the neighborhood were sold lately should also be taken into consideration. So if you want to be a real estate winner, keep your eye on the competition and make sure you get the best price possible. Location. Location, location, location. That's what we all want when it comes to finding the perfect place to call home. The best properties are always those in the most desirable locations. After all, who wouldn't want to live close to major landmarks, scenic views, and all the best amenities? Not to mention a safe, peaceful neighborhood for you and your family to enjoy. So when it comes to finding your dream home, don't forget the importance of location. It really is the key to a property's market value. After all, you don't want to move into a place that looks like it belongs in a horror movie. Banking anomalies. Shopping for a new house is like a high-stakes game of Monopoly, and the bank is the ultimate banker. Banks have the power to make or break a sale by setting the interest rates on mortgages and assessing a buyer's creditworthiness. Plus, they have the final say on how much a house is worth, which can make or break a deal. So if you're looking to buy a house, don't forget to kiss the ring of the bank. Buying a house can be a real pain, especially if it's in a bad neighborhood, needs a ton of repairs, is too expensive, or the housing market is deader than a doornail. It can be hard to trust the seller if they can't prove they actually own the place, and finding an agent to list the property could be like searching for a needle in a haystack. If you're thinking about unloading your house, it's essential to get a handle on the current real estate market environment. Recent months saw wild volatility related to the pandemic, though fortunately the dust is starting to settle. Even that hasn't come without new challenges, like mortgage rates steadily climbing and reaching 6.66% as of March and April, which can keep prospective buyers from taking the plunge. Pending house sales. Pending home sales grew in February for the third consecutive month. 3 U.S. regions posted monthly gains while the West declined. All 4 regions saw year-over-year decreases in transactions. There is a tremendous increment in all of the regions in MOM factor for house sales. In the Midwest, pending home sales in MOM factor is up by almost 0.5%. In the West, it's down by 2.4%, indicating a demand for houses in this region. This does not come as a surprise since the West of the USA is amongst the most economically powerful regions, but things look quite the opposite for Northwest, where the pending house sales are up by 6.5%, the highest amongst all regions. The concern this video is pointing out perfectly sums up the situation in the Northwest of the USA. Antagonism dilemma. Does it mean that is it all bad for everyone? Like always, crashes are an entirely normal problem in all types of markets.
Markets always crash. Anybody tells you to invest for the long term, you've got to be silly. The more debt we use, the less tax we pay. That is why I love real estate.
It can also turn out that possibly 2023 could be the year to make a killing in the housing market if you're feeling lucky. The Home Purchase Sentiment Index from Fannie Mae has more than half of respondents believing now is the time to make a move. Inventory is still quite low, so get in while the getting's good. But don't forget to consider the personal and financial aspects of this big decision. Verdict. USD is losing its value day by day, and for the matter of fact, it isn't actually the house that will lose the value, but the buying power, indicating just why it will be so difficult to sell the house in the near future, if not impossible.